Hi, welcome to a not newly listed clip. I'm your host, Barrington Miller from the Canadian Securities Exchange. And today I'm here with John Carlesso, CEO of FenixOro. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Barrington.
Now, let's jump into it. What does your company do exactly?
We are a gold exploration play. We're located in one of the most prolific gold belts in the world for discoveries over the past 10 years. It's a region that has generated almost 100 million ounces of new discoveries. The country is in Colombia, and we've got a very exciting exploration play. And we are the closest project to the Buritica mine, which was recently sold for $1.4 billion in January of 2020. We're a geological look-alike. We have many similarities to the style and structure of that deposit. So we're in the process of trying to prove out that we're very similar and have the same kind of potential.
Now, you may or may not know this about me. I used to be a trader, and I loved trading nickel, a little bit of silver. Hated trading gold. Why? Because it's a mineral, and it's a currency. What is the attraction with gold? Where do you see it headed, especially in today's global economy?
I mean, yeah, there's been historically, gold has always done well in periods of inflation. There's as I'm sure you're aware, a massive conversation going on in all corners of the financial world about what kind of inflation is occurring, for what length of time it's expected to last, and what the best asset is or asset classes are to own during a period of inflation. And I would say that one of the main arguments or debates is gold versus crypto. I personally believe there's room in a portfolio for both. I think they both have their merits. And I think the gold, ultimately, it's the case for gold as an asset that performs well during a period of inflation will hold up. From the perspective of where we are in terms of the development of our company, when you can take a project that from 0 ounces to X million ounces, that represents growth. And I always say that it doesn't really matter ultimately what the price of gold is. You've taken an asset and you've added significantly to the value of it, because you had nothing, and when you started, and you end up with something very, very valuable. So I think if you look at where gold has come from in the past several years, it's up in significant terms. The acquisition I mentioned of Continental Gold in January 2020 took place when gold was $1,400 an ounce. We're now sitting around $1,850, looking like it's trying to make an attempt at 1900. So there's value there. We're taking something, adding a discovery, and that's the real play. To me, it's the question is how much speculative money is going to be pulled into the sector. That can always help in the short term, in the interest around the value of a public company that trades in a space that's hot. At the end of the day, we're very, very comfortable with gold at 1850. My personal belief is it probably goes a lot higher. But we can have that debate.
And we're not giving investment advice on the show. Just
no.
Just for our audience. We're just two people talking. So unlike a newly listed clip where we talk about the company and pretty much from where it started, you have been around. You've been here. And are you able to say what's the difference between where the company is now versus where it was, say, a year ago?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think we're still relatively a newly listed company. We listed in May of 2020, so about a year and a half ago. In the weird time dimension of COVID, it's it's kind of blown by pretty quickly. it's also affected, and this doesn't make us unique. I think all public companies have wrestled with this issue. But when you're trying to get your story to investors, typically you'd um, have many meetings, and we've been living in this world of Zoom. So you adapt, you try and present your ideas in different ways. So I would argue it still feels kind of new because um, we haven't been doing a lot of marketing. So this is one of our first forays, I guess, particularly with the CSE, which we appreciate. Um, yeah, it's many of your investors maybe are hearing the story for the first time. We um, we started our exploration program drilling in the fall of last year, about a year ago, September, October. And we made a significant discovery. We've outlined what we believe is going to be a significant gold deposit. And we see a path to the first that we've outlined in NI 43101 policy format and in press releases, a path to the first few million ounces. We're in the process of tightening that up in terms of the certainty of it, moving it into resource categories. But it still represents a very small portion of the potential for our project. We have several new discovery targets. So our objective with the ongoing drill program, we just started phase 2 about a month ago, is to continue to demonstrate that what we know of, the deposit as we know it, the size, the scale, the geometry is continuing to grow. It's continuing to grow deeper. Um, we expect that we're going to be proven a little bit conservative with our guidelines in terms of what the grade is. But there are several other exciting targets that we think will add to this potential and ultimately demonstrate that there is much more there than we know yet.
No person can do this by themselves. I was wondering if you'd like to highlight a couple members of the team.
Yeah, one in particular. I mean, we've got certainly a board and advisors that are very experienced mining professionals who have been involved in startups, been involved in putting mines into production, been involved in negotiating acquisitions, etc. So I think we're well positioned to receive good advice from our people, particularly though. Our VP exploration is a guy named Stuart Moeller. Stu is a very experienced geologist, a veteran of the industry. He's worked with Barrick. He was global head of exploration for Pan American Silver for many years. And interestingly, he was the VP exploration at Continental Gold who discovered the Buritica deposit. So in terms of being an authority and an expert just on not only on the region that we're in, but specifically this style of mineralization, this type of rock, he's the guy. And when we say, we are seeing many similarities between our Abriaqui project and the Buritica mine, that's the basis for it. It's Stu's experience, his expertise, and his ability to make these comparisons because he's the guy who discovered it, drills it, and knows it better than anybody else.
Usually I ask what's the differentiator between your company and other companies that are doing mining and mineral exploration, but you have just named a very key differentiator. Actually, having somebody who was involved in the discovery of an area that you are literally right on top of.
Mm-hmm.
If there's any other differentiators between your company and others, whether it's location and being in Colombia, and maybe we can talk a little bit about that and the experience of working in such a
Yeah,
remote
I read an interesting comment yesterday. I think it was from Robert Friedland, and I don't recall exactly where I saw it, but in short, I'm paraphrasing here, but it said, grade is everything. Grade solves all your problems. Um, High grade is certainly much better than low grade, and it applies to much more than just the obvious economics. It can apply to your environmental footprint. It can apply to many factors. The dilution of your capital structure, the investor interest you're going to generate, et cetera. And in this area where we are, what we're calling of Colombia, we're calling it Buritica style because Buritica really blazed the trail and pioneered this. It is ultra high grade mesothermal type veins that are surrounded by wider zones of lower grade mineralization, which gives you very interesting economics. The Buritica mine is, I believe, right currently the fourth lowest cash cost producer in the world. So high grade and low cost is something that's extremely attractive. It's relatively, I mean, there are other high grade areas known for high grades, but it's hard to come by. So certainly that has a particular appeal when comparing different styles of rock and different types of deposits, and we think it gives us a huge you know, standing in terms of the potential that we're chasing as well.
Now, for those that are new to the scene and new to your company, what do you think they have to look forward to with your company going forward in the next, say, 6 months, 12 months, 18 months?
You know, we're continuing with our exploration program. We've had tremendous success. We're drilling hole 14 right now, which will be a pivotal hole, I think, in terms of demonstrating you know, the scale and the depth of the deposit and the expanding potential of it, obviously. But you know, in our programs today, we're 13 of 14, which is an incredible batting average in terms of you know, a success rate. We just announced a financing last week that we're raising through a private placement on the CSE.
Well,
And
congratulations on that.
thanks. And really you know, our philosophy there is we've made this discovery. Now we really want to ramp up and aggressively pursue a development pace to prove up as quickly as possible what we see as the scale and these new discovery targets. So I think you're going to see an advanced rate of drilling, of exploration, of drill results coming over the next several months and quarters in an effort towards proving up this this resource and making new discoveries.
Well, John, on behalf of the Canadian Securities Exchange, we'd like to thank you for your continued and your valuable listing. For our listeners, if you like this story as well as others, please visit us at CSE TV on YouTube, as well as LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook. I've been your host, Barrington Miller, and today I was here with John Carlesso from FenixOro, listed on the Canadian Securities Exchange. John, really quick, what symbol can they find you trading under?
We are on the CSE. Our symbol is F, like Frank, ENX, as in X-ray. We also do trade on the in the US under FDVXF. And yeah, hopefully some of your viewers will check us out.
Yep, check them out. And if you like this, hit click. Make sure you subscribe and pass on to people who may be interested in it. Thank you for taking the time. Again, I'm your host, Barrington Miller, and this was with John Carlesso. See you on the next episode.
Thank you for tuning in to another newly listed on the CSE. Please feel free to hit like and share this content and hit subscribe if you haven't already.